Hi, good morning, or good afternoon, or even good night at your end. Today, we will talk about one of my favorite subjects, problem solving and decision making. And this is a very, very, very important aspect of project management because, as you will see when we proceed, with the presentation, you will see that as a project manager or as a manager or even as an employee or a business person, you will face lots and lots of problems. These problems will be different in magnitude, in the type of problem, the causes of the problem, and throughout the years, scientists and wise people started to realize that they need, or we need as humans, to approach problems in a more systematic way. And so many researchers and scholars have studied these approaches, methodologies, frameworks, tools that can enable us to approach problems in a systematic way, tools that we can use to analyze problems and come up into a solution. And there are so many interesting tools and topics that we will talk about. So let me share my screen and we proceed. I told you I really, really like this topic because simply I used these tools, I used these approaches in real life. And you might not have never used one or some of these tools, but I encourage you to start using these tools. So in each chapter, there are certain principles the author or the researcher uses. The first one here in this chapter is it happens. Problems happens. What matters is how you deal with it. Complex situations benefit from basic tools to help with sense making. I like this term very much, sense making. There is another term, we use it a lot. We say it's a common sense. So there is some skill humans have developed throughout the years and decades and centuries to make sense of things around us. The third one is establishing basic principles and rules of thumb dramatically improves the success of decision-making processes. Decision-making is a dilemma. Think of a general who is in the battlefield trying to take a decision. And there are two ways people make sense of the world around us, or the context, or the situation, either using intuition or sensing. If we are using intuition, we depend on our, they call it sixth sense. How do we feel in this situation? Maybe we have a previous experience that gives us some insights into this context. Sometimes they call it gut feeling. And we develop gut feeling by experiencing different experiences, by meeting different people. And we develop this gut feeling. So, although we don't have 100% of the supporting evidence or the information or the data that we need to come up with a decision, we still have a gut feeling that gives us some insights on which direction should we go. The other way is sensing. Sensing means that I'm using my senses, something that I see, smell, hear, or touch. It means that I depend on hardcore data and information. I'm not using my intuition. I'm not using my gut feeling. I'm not using a hunch. Okay, I feel deep inside that this is right, or I feel deep inside that this is wrong. No, I have hardcore data that um, uh, this information confirms this. This information denies this. That's why I reached this decision. Let me see if we are recording. Why? Oh, yes, it's recording. Good. So, still, whether our personal approach is intuition or sensing, we still need some rules, some principles to help us to come into the right decision. So this week, we will learn how to establish a structure for identifying, defining, and coming up into a solution of problems. We will learn the appropriate tools that we can use in different stages of the problem solving process. And I emphasize on the word process. The process means that there are certain steps that we need to take to come up with the solution or the right solution or the optimum solution. We will study the implications of some of the changes in modern management thinking in the area of decision making. And now, actually, decision making is a whole full blown discipline that researchers specialize in, and even professionals. I don't know if you come up if you come across this job title, but there is a job title called decision making support professional. So those professionals specialize on in supporting the decision making process, whether as consultants or IT professionals who provide data and information so the decision maker and the decision taker can use these information to come up with the decision. Problems in projects. Problems in any situation, in relationships, whether professional or personal, in managing your own life, in managing projects, in managing your career life, in managing anything, department, or even if you are not managing anything, managing yourself. So we will face problems. So during the execution phase of a project, we will face some problems that we need to solve and also come up with decisions, and this is very important, rapidly and effectively. Why rapidly? Because if there is a delay, it will impact the schedule of the project. And remember the what we call the iron triangle. Actually, now we call it the golden triangle. In the book, they call it the iron, but no, it's the golden triangle. It's a balancing act between time, quality, and cost. So if there is a delay, we we will face other problems regarding the schedule. If and the second word is effectively. So we want a solution that can really solve the problem and eliminate any hindrance that we might face. And this might affect the quality of the deliverables, of the time, of course, maybe the time of execution, and the budget. So we want to find the right solution that can balance again time, quality, and budget. It will not be possible to pre-plan all eventualities. Yes, we do risk management and we do risk planning. So we think of all the scenarios that might happen, all the problems that we can come across to the best of our knowledge and experience. But sometimes, okay, but sometimes, actually, in many cases, many things will happen that we did not account for or we did not think about when we are doing our risk planning. So we expect this. Sometimes we call it calculated risks, uncalculated risks, and unforeseen risks. The modern project manager is overloaded with data rather than information. Remember when we were talking about the difference between data and information? Data is abstract. Information has meanings. So go back to that lecture when I talked about the difference between data and information. So as a project manager or as a manager or as a professional, you need to make sense of the data that you have. And right now, because we have the tools that enable us to gather too much data, so we are bombarded and overloaded with the data. So it's our duty to make sense of this data and transform it into information. This information will support the decision-making process. So it's very important to structure problems. And structuring anything means that we make sense of the components of this thing. So we start understanding the parts so we can understand the whole. So one of the important steps in structuring problems is understanding the nature of the problem. Here are some examples of the nature of the problem. The first one, urgent problems. Those problems that require an immediate reaction. And reaction means a decision. The time scale of a decision requires a conditional reflex rather than a considered response. Such a situation would include the threatening of the well-being of an individual. In this situation, they give some context here for this type or this nature of a problem. It requires immediate reaction. It's a reflex. A reflex is, okay, who came? Yeah. A reflex is a sudden reaction. Usually when, for example, if someone wants to punch you in the face and you move your head or you tilt your head backward so they don't punch you, or someone is trying to touch your eye and you close your eye quickly, or sometimes the doctors, when they are trying to understand if your nerves are okay and your nerve system is okay, they use a small hammer and they tap into your knee in a certain way, so your whole leg has a reflex. So this is the meaning of a conditional reflex. It means that a conditioned reflex, a quick response to the event. And usually this happens when there is a situation that threatens the well-being of you or one of your teams. The second one is a response to a crisis. And also the word crisis, it will be different based on the type of work that you do, the nature of work, the nature of the project. It could be a financial crisis or economic crisis or physical crisis. So the problem can be considered within a relatively short time period. Here, maybe I don't need an immediate response. So the problem happens 9:01. My response should be 9:02. Here, when we have a crisis, no, I still have some wiggly time, but not too much. So I have a short period to understand what's happening and decide the right solution. For example, an undesirable state of affairs has occurred. You need to do something about it. Like what happened with COVID-19. I remember I was traveling with my family in February, and we returned, and in less than 2 weeks, the country here, Canada, they declared the full lockdown. So we had to think of, that was a crisis for me and my husband, because we have our own businesses. One of the decisions that we took is to end our lease contract for our offices. And ask, because of course all our employees were working from home, so we didn't need the lease. And I remember we had a brainstorming session, my husband and I, on the right decision to take. Shall we close our offices? Because we didn't know how long this will take. Will it take 6 months? Will it take 1 month? Will it take a year? And it ended taking 3 years. So we took a decision to close our offices and end our lease contract. And we made the calculation, okay, I might lose some money because we were approaching the end of the contract, but not at the end of the contract. So I have to cover those months. I believe it ends in May. Yeah, it ends in May, and we were early March. So for us, okay, if we pay these couple of months, but I am saving money on the long run. So for us, that was a crisis, for example. The third one is emerging problem. Some undesirable state of affairs appears likely to happen. What are you going to do to resolve it? So I don't have a problem right now, but with the circumstances and the course of action that's happening in my project, I can detect an emerging problem. Think of the sea, and you can see there is a tide and there is a wave that's starting very, very far. It's not happening here. You are not in the wave, in that high wave yet, but you can see it across the horizon that it's happening there. So eventually it will come to me. So what can I do to prevent this problem or deal with the effect of the problem? So in the middle of the sea, I can see, okay, what will happen here? Shall I go away from the wave? Will I have enough time to run away from the wave? Or sometimes I will go directly to the wave while it's small enough, the magnitude of the wave is small enough that I can handle it. Or maybe I can dive deep so the wave will pass. So this is what happens. I can sense or I can see from the course of actions that there is a problem that's happening, but it's not yet here. What shall I do to resolve it? The fourth one is response to an opportunity. Remember when we were doing our risk analysis and risk management and risk planning, we considered opportunities as part of the risks. Risks is not only a negative word, as we all understand. Risk, it means that there is a certain event, positive or negative, that will be happening. How can I manage this event? If it is a negative one, how I avoid it, how I resolve it. If it is a positive one, it's an opportunity, how can I take advantage of it, or shall I take the decision to pass this time? So I'm responding to an opportunity. Speculative problem solving or avoidance in advance of an undesirable situation. This will be a missed opportunity. Shall I use this opportunity to enhance the project and the work and the deliverables? Or shall I decide to miss this opportunity and I will be okay with this? Sorry. The last one is strategy formulation, the plotting of a course of a desired situation over a period of years. Remember, strategy usually deals with long term, but not anymore. Back in the days, companies used to develop a 20 years strategy. Remember the famous story, the biblical story, and it's also in all the three Abrahamic religion, the story of Joseph. When he was dealing with the famine, he put a plan for 20 years. 7 years, 7 years, 7 years. So I believe that was one of the earliest long-term plan in history. Back in the days, companies and organizations used to have these 20 years plans. Countries are still working with this time frame. But with the changes happening in the markets right now, we have seen that strategy or strategic plans shrunk and they became 5 years plan and 3 years plan. And in some organizations, when the changes are very, very frequent, they have 1 year plan and they are okay with this. So some problems stem from the way we formulate the strategy. So our projects are not a separate entity from the organization. So if there is something happening with the organization, it will affect my project. If there is something wrong with the strategy, it also will affect my project. So it's very important to understand the nature of the problem. And there is a famous saying that half the solution is understanding the problem. The more I understand the problem, it will be easier for me to come up with the right solution. Any questions so far?
No, sorry.
Okay. So here is the next point, the systemization of problem resolution. As I said early in the lecture, we need some systematic approach to solve problems. Because in many cases, we will not have enough information or the whole information to solve the problem. It would be easy. Sometimes we don't have the experience with this type of problems. There is a first time in everything. Sometimes we will not have the knowledge. I might have the information, but I don't have the knowledge to use this information and come up with a solution. So I need a methodology. So once a method has been defined for resolving a situation, it can be refined and improved. This is a benefit of having a system or a methodology. If I have it in place, I can refine it. I will apply it and I will learn from this application. I will learn from my mistakes. I will learn from my wins, and I will improve this method. Also, having a system or having a methodology to solving problems, it will remove the thought processes from the actions they are. It's very important because sometimes we think too much or think too little. Or I'm thinking of the solution, but there is a different person who is implementing the solution. So by having a methodology or a systematic approach to solving problems, I will separate the thought from the action. And it will help a lot with the work politics and the relationship between individuals and team members. If a predetermined procedures is followed, actions are traceable back to the people who carried them out. This is very important. When I have a systematic approach, one part of this approach is saying who is doing what, who is approving what, who is initialing what, who is presenting, who is performing. So it's very important so I can trace the actions and what happened to the person who did it. Also, it will help me if some mistake happens to detect when and where this mistake happened and how it will affect the whole problem solving process. The actions are then the responsibility of the organization rather than the individual. We stop blaming each other. It's our problem. It's not that person's problem. And also, it depends to a great extent on the culture. In some countries, the culture is finger pointing. You did this, you did that. That was your mistake. But having this systematic approach, it will make the problem the problem of all the team. So we will focus more on the problem, not the individuals. Should the procedure fail, the identification of the fail point is considerably helped as the steps can be retracted. I even talked about this. So I can check back all the steps. Remember in math problems, when you make a small mistake in part of the calculation and you carry out the mistake, carry forward the same mistake. So I can trace back when the mistake happens so I can correct what I need to correct. So here is a methodology. It's coming directly from your book on a systematic way or a model, a systemic model for problem solving. So I start here. Does a problem exist? Yes or no? If it is no, refer back to check for existence of gap. Where is the gap? Anyone came? No. Okay. If there is a problem, yes, ask this question. Is the answer pre-structured? Do I have an answer for the problem? So, if yes, I refer to the procedure and institute programmed action. Because in many cases, organizations have some knowledge about the type of problems they face a lot. So they have a programmed course of action. If one happen, do two. If three happen, do four. No, I don't. So seek alternative definitions. Start to come up with alternative solutions or formulation of the problem. Are definitions acceptable? Actually, they refer to a specific example in the textbook, but I'm trying to make sense of it as a general approach. If the definition of the problem is acceptable, no. So I go back and I try to find alternative definitions of the problem. If it is yes, select the definition or problem structure. Now it's easy for me because I understand the problem, the nature of the problem, so I can refer to this type of problems. Then I move on. Is the one definition acceptable? Is the way I understood the problem is acceptable? No, then go back either to this point or maybe go back further steps. If it is yes, evaluate solutions and then select the right solution. Or maybe I have a hybrid mix of different solutions. Solution acceptable? Is the solution that we came up with is acceptable? So see, I'm doing this analysis over and over and over. Synthesis, I'm trying to make sense of the solution that we came up with. If it is yes, implement it. If it is no, go back. So this is a systemic problem-solving model. You can apply it on any problem. And by the way, if you check your approach to any problem you face, even if it is a very, very small problem, you are fixing something in your house, maybe preparing dinner, and you come across any problem or any situation, you will find yourself following something similar to this systemic model, but you do it without thinking. It becomes, a habit or a common sense that you do it. You just do it. In doing this, you can see that there is a lot of brainstorming happening here because we think, we have meetings with our team members, or we have meetings with experts, or we hire consultants, or we go and seek help from other departments. So there is a lot of brainstorming here. And there are some brainstorming rules, and these are very, very important because you can manage the brainstorming sessions in an effective way. So let's read these together. Provide a basic structure to the task of decision making. Groups are generally very, very bad at looking for structure or logic in decisions, because groups are consisted of individuals, and every individual brings their natural inclination to the table. So we fail sometimes in finding a structure or logic in coming up to decisions. So start the brainstorming session with a basic structure. and I will give you some examples for this. The benefit is from the extraction and combination of ideas from a variety of people. People are sharing their ideas. Our brainstorming might combine different ideas together. The object of the exercise is therefore to facilitate this. So in the brainstorming session, if you are managing the brainstorming session, your um, your responsibility is to help in creating a safe space for everyone to share their ideas, and don't shy away from sharing their ideas, and also to use these ideas and combine these ideas or select the best idea. Give people the opportunity to do some pre-thinking on the problem. The subconscious mind has an enormous capacity and can provide solutions without the input of conscious effort. This is very important. People need time to think, and sometimes we vary. I'm an extrovert. It means that I'm thinking out loud. So I sometimes need to hear my own ideas and thoughts to make sense of it. Other people who are introverts, no, they need this time to do it in their brain before they speak it. So by giving the people who will attend the brainstorming session some information about the problem or the decision that they want to come up with, you are giving them time to make sense of the information and meditate on the problem and the given information and come up with ideas. And then when we are in the meeting, I will be ready. Whether I'm an extrovert or an introvert, I will be ready to share my ideas. At the start of the meeting, an ice-breaking exercise will help people to relax and provide a safe environment for the generation of ideas. It's very critical that when I attend a brainstorming meeting, I feel comfortable and safe enough to speak up and say my mind. So we use ice-breaking exercise. Of course, there are some fancy exercises. I sometimes use these ice-breaking exercises to put people into the mood, okay? To have some interactions between the team members or people who are attending the brainstorming session before thinking of the real problem. So you create some sort of familiarity between people. We are no longer strangers. Think of yourself when you started, when we started in small groups in our lectures. Think of the early small groups and how some of you were reluctant to speak up, or some of you were trying to avoid offending anyone by opposing their ideas or something like this. And think of the exercise that we did later in the course and how comfortable you were dealing with people you dealt with before. All ideas must be written down. Use whiteboards and 3Ms, post-it notes. For example, this is very, very important. Don't underestimate this point. I have been part of so many brainstorming sessions, whether I'm in the team or I'm facilitating it, and there are so many wonderful ideas that are lost because we did not write it down. Write it down even if we will not use it, but we have to document these ideas. So I use whiteboards, I use flipboards. Sometimes we use small post-it notes, or we use notes, or sometimes we record the whole session so we can extract these ideas later on. Express ideas as the participants state them. Paraphrasing removes the original meaning and adds a slant of your own. If in doubt as to the veracity of the point being made, seek clarification. This is also very important, especially if you are the manager. Sometimes the team member or the employee will say an idea. The manager will take the idea, spin it, or change it, or add to it, or tint it with their own perception, and they will say it back. And this takes away the essence of the solution or the idea that the team member gave. So, okay, what if I don't understand the idea 100%? Seek clarification. Ask questions. Do you mean that we do 1, 2, 3? Sometimes people, when they are expressing their ideas, it's not clear enough. Or maybe they lack the articulation to articulate the idea. So by asking questions, not paraphrasing what they said, you can help them to articulate the idea more and in a better way. Don't allow any criticism of ideas put forward. This will destroy the credibility of that person, and you will be unlikely to gain much more from them. I'll tell you a story. It's not my story, but it's one of my professors' story. He was facilitating a brainstorming session in North Canada, where it is very, very cold, and the ice flow or the snowfall is heavy. And they had a problem that the snow accumulates on the electricity poles, you know, those electricity lines. And this causes cut of electricity, frequent cuts in electricity. And one of the people who were attending the meeting, he had a funny way in articulating his ideas. He thought, one of his ideas, he thought, what if a bear comes and they scratch their back in the pole, the pole, and the accumulated ice or snow falls down, and everyone laughed. Our professor says he felt embarrassed, of course, that man. He was imagining this situation, and our professor said that he started to ask him questions. Okay, let me visualize it with you. So you see a bear coming, and the bear scratches its back in the pole. So what happens with the pole? The man said it shakes, you know. And my professor, he said, okay, so the solution here should have some shaking mechanism. The man said, yes. What will happen if we have this shaking mechanism? The ice or the snow will fall. So it will not cut the electricity. And actually, that was the right solution. And they added these shakers that vibrates, and it chased the pole, so the snow falls, and it doesn't weigh down the pole or the electricity wires. So don't allow any criticism of the ideas, even if it is silly, even if it is not the right solution, even if it's just an idea. So don't encourage this, because people will feel unsafe, so they will stop speaking up, and you will lose lots and lots in this process. Don't permit one or a small group of individuals to dominate the proceedings. This will exclude potentiality valuable input from others. And I can see it, and I'm guilty of doing it, because many of the extrovert people, they speak out loud. Sometimes they look more confident, so they speak up. And by speaking up and taking a large amount of the time, uh, they they make it uncomfortable for introverts or shy people to speak up. So they will dominate the conversation. Sometimes the domination is not coming from extroversion or introversion, it comes from hierarchy. I am in a position higher than this person, Sarah, for example. I'm in a higher position, so it gives me the authority or the perceived authority that I want to talk more. So Sarah shies away because she feels, okay, my position is less than this person, so I will keep silent. So when you are managing a brainstorming session, don't allow this. That's why it's very important to have a structure. The first point, when you have a structure, okay, let me tell you this. The Aboriginals of North America, or even in South America, they have this way, and maybe you have something similar in your culture. If you have, please let us know. They have this way that everyone in the tribe, when they have a big problem, everyone in the tribe sits in a circle. How big, how small, it doesn't matter. And there is a feather. And the feather moves. And the person who is holding the feather have the opportunity to express their idea or their opinion. And then they move the feather to the next one. Then they move the feather to the next one, and to the next one, and to the next one. And you don't have the right to speak again until the feather reaches you. So I used this way, this exercise in some of my brainstorming sessions, but I gave them the you have to talk, or you say pass. I don't have anything to add. So you can talk and express your idea, or you say pass. And I had a timer just for 2 minutes. So you have 2 minutes to give your idea. If the timer cuts you off, so I'm not cutting you off, so now no one is offended. If the timer cuts you off, you stop talking and the next person starts talking, and so on. And when it is your turn again, you can either say a new idea, or you resume talking about the same idea, or you say pass. So that was a really, really good way to manage a brainstorming session. So at the end, we summarize and record the outcome of the brainstorming session, and then circulate it to all those concerned. The after meeting feedback is a further source of solutions and ideas, as people think of all the things that they would like to have contributed during the session. This is very important. I have seen and participated in situations when we have a meeting and it is wonderful meeting. Oh yeah, we have wonderful ideas, and everyone goes to their desk and crickets, nothing happens. So the next logical step is to summarize all these ideas, record the outcome because we reached some sort of an outcome here, and you circulate it back to those who participated and you seek feedback. So they are refining their ideas, maybe adding more information, and this way we will have a solid, tangible output of the session. Any questions so far? Any questions so far?
No, thank you.
Okay. Because we will have a very nice brainstorming session. So we have a problem, and here I'm introducing a nice way. I use this several times. They call it De Bono thinking hats. So De Bono was a management researcher, and he has so many contributions, and one of the best contributions he has is his thinking hats. So, and actually we use it. So we have these hats, and we bring it to the meeting, and we give people or small groups a certain hat, and they have to think in a specific way that is mandated by the color of the hat. So the benefit, or the yellow hat, it represents the benefit. So for example, I will think only of the benefits, the positives, the advantages, the improvements, the benefits. It's the optimism. So this is the optimistic person or the optimistic group. I might not be optimistic, but if I have the yellow hat assigned to me, I have to think of an optimistic solution or approach. Some of the questions: what are the good points? Why is this one preferable? How can we make this work? So this is the first person or the first group. The second group or the second person, I will assign them the black hat. So this is all about pessimism, the problems, the weak points, the negative points, the downsides, the bad things. What is wrong with this? What do we use to be careful of? What do we need to check? Okay, the risks. The blue hat, so the group or the people or the person who will get the blue hat, they will think of the planning, how we can make this work out. They analyze the situation, they organize the information, they make reason of the information, they think. What thinking is needed? What is our planning? What's the next step? How can we summarize it? The green hat represents ideas, the solutions, recommendations, proposals, possibilities, alternatives. What are our suggestions? Are there any other ideas? Are there any alternatives? Could we do this in a different way? Because we are talking about alternatives. The red hat is all about emotions, feelings, guessing, hunches, gut reactions, intuition. What do we feel about this? What are our hunches about this? What's the intuition is telling us? The last one is the white hat or the facts. We try to use figures, information, details, proof. What information do we have? What information do we need? What information is missing? How are we going to get the information we need? So to give you a problem to apply this, well, the ideal situation is that all students will be here. So I would assign a specific color to each one of you, but you are 3 only. So actually, every one of you will have 2 colors, okay? So the problem is like this. The management would like to cut costs. They propose to stop providing free lunch to the production line workers and open a small cafeteria where employees and workers they can buy their own lunch. So we work in a manufacturing facilities. One of the perks provided to employees or workers is that we give them free lunch. So the management is trying to cut costs. So they see the cost structure and they see this figure, this number of X dollars that we are spending on lunches. And they decide to cut this. Okay, no, we are no longer providing free lunch to the line workers. We will open a small cafeteria. We will stock the cafeteria with food and we will sell this food to the line workers. So you need to have a decision. So, okay, let's see who is doing what. Sarah, you will take yellow and white.
Yes, yellow and white, okay.
Yellow and white. So you will think only of the benefits of the solution and the facts. Okay? Who else? Mansoor? Mansoor, you will take black and blue. So
Okay,
you will
sure.
think only of the problems, the weak points, the negatives, the downside, and you will think of the planning. How we can make it work, the analysis, the reasoning.
Okay.
Okay. Wellington? Wellington? Are you here? Wellington?
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect. You will take green and red. So you will think of the emotions and feelings and guesses, and you will come up with ideas or recommendations or alternatives. Okay? So as you are in the main room, I'm not going to make a small room, but I will keep this the slide. So every one of you, so have your brainstorming session. So you can go into turns. So for example, Wellington will start talking about green. Give Wellington a time, 2 minutes, for example, to express something under green. Then move to Mansoor. Mansoor, you will give something under black for 2 minutes. Then Sarah, again, 2 minutes under yellow, for example, and then go back to Wellington. Express something under red, and so on.
Should we give opinion to each other?
Yes, but make sure that you write down your opinions.
Okay.
Make sure that you document your ideas, because at the end, we want to have an effective solution to this problem. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so I'll give you 30 minutes for this one.
Okay.
Sorry,
Oh.
20 minutes?
Yes, 30 minutes. Okay, starting now. When I close my camera, you are starting.
Oh,
Okay. 3, 2. Oh, do you have a question?
yes, I just want to look at it, the green again, so that I will know what to say about it.
Okay, I'm sharing the I'm sharing the slide. Can't you see the slide?
Okay.
So here is the problem, and here is your hats. You are wearing the green and the red hat. So when you speak, when you give an idea, you have to stick to your color. So now do you understand what's required here? Any question? Any question?
I can help him to understand the problem.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Okay. So let's start. 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Sarah Wellington.
Hi, Masood. Hi, Wellington.
Yes.
So,
Manso, I thought you said you will start so that I'll understand what you're saying.
okay. So basically, we have to. This is the case that we have to work on. There's a problem. As you can you read the slide?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, so the slide says that the management would like to cut cost. There is a company that would like to cut costs, so they want to stop providing free lunch for its employees or the line workers, and they want to start or establish a small cafeteria to sell their foods. So the employees can buy their own lunch. They're not giving away food for free, but instead of that, they will sell their food uh, in cafeteria. Did you get the problem?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and then
Sure.
we are given these are the hats. You can see there are 6 hats: benefits, problems, planning, ideas, emotions, and facts. So each of us are given is given 2 hats to work on. For example, Sarah is given benefits and facts to work on. She has to work on the benefits that the benefits that stopping giving free lunch will give the company. And she has to provide the facts. Yours was, I think, the ideas and emotions. You have to give ideas how they can implement this project, how they can establish a cafeteria, and the emotions. You can read the emotions hat, their feelings, and other things. So you have to give your opinion based on the specific hat. I hope I'm clear.
Sure. You're clear about that. Just trying to see what we can break down with the hats.
Okay.
Did you get it, Wellington?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So you have to work on ideas and emotions, and Sarah has to work on benefits and facts. I'll work on problems and planning.
So we give ourselves how long? Then we come to work on. Then we come back. Then we can exchange ideas. 10 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, 10 minutes.
Sure.
Okay, let's okay, I'll work on it 10 minutes. We come back.
Okay.
Hello, Master.
Yes, Wellington, I'm here.
Okay, I'm having a little challenge in reading the queries, the question on the cap. Very tiny to my see.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
I mean, the write-up on the caps. I couldn't find it easy to. I couldn't view the write-ups on the caps clearly. You understand?
Can you write it? Sorry.
No, what I mean is the write-up. You know,
Okay.
for instance, you see the emotions. I can see emotions, but it's under.
Yeah.
I can't find. Can't read what is there.
Okay, for emotions, you want opinions?
Are you asking for him to read out for you, like what is written under emotions?
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
especially the green. I think the green should be more better. What is
Okay.
written on the
Do you want me to read it?
yes, you can read it for me. It's more better.
Okay, okay, sure. Yeah, sorry. Under emotions, there are four things, which are feelings,
Sorry.
gases,
No,
feelings.
sorry.
The first one is feelings. Do you want me to write it for you? Wait.
Hello?
I'm writing it for you.
Okay.
Check the messages.
Okay.
I'm ready from my end. I'm present when you're ready.
Okay, sure.
Wellington, you okay? I proceed or give you more time?
I'm only working on the one that also sent for me. I think that should be the emotion.
Okay.
But if you can write up the other one for me too, it will be better so that I can do at once. I mean, the idea.
So I think I can present the one hat, the yellow positive benefits.
Okay.
So what I've picked up from this being that those top being provided for free lunch, and now they'll have a cafeteria where workers can buy their own lunch. So the points I've picked up, they'll offer options for employees to choose from a meal plan. They'll have like what they can choose. They'll have a variety to choose from. So that's one of the positives. They'll have quality foods with better nutrients. So they'll be able to learn the quality of food they eat has a good benefits to their nutrients. They're getting good nutrients from the food they're getting. And they can bargain a standard cost to each meal. So they'll be able to get that with this. Then they can give a benefit card to the employees. The management can provide a meal card benefit to the employee, whereby maybe the card is worth 30 meals, let's say a whole month meal, whereby if they eat today, they can use the same cards for the next 30 days. So the management can look into giving them that. The other thing, all employees will benefit equally. They'll benefit either from getting the meal card, or they can equally be able to get the meals if they were to buy in cash the same way with the same quality. They can also bargain to have additional meals, in that they can decide, okay, we want 4 o'clock tea. So those are some of the benefits I picked, or the positive benefits they can pick to having a small cafeteria.
Okay. Did you mention the cost that will be cut? That's because that's the main positive. That's the main benefit.
Yeah, okay. The meal card will be like an advance they'll be given to be able to purchase the food. But in this case, they'll not be given the cash. They will have a meal plan. So this meal card, at the end of the month, they'll be deducted. Let's say they use let's say $20 in a month. So the card will be worth $20 in a month. So if somebody exhausts the card before the end of the month, they'll not be able to use it. So at the end of the month, they'll be deducted this amount.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits. And also, I think that there isn't a cafeteria in the workplace in this company. And if they have a cafeteria, they will have a place to eat together, their lunch, and they can have a small chat during the lunch, and that will provide a friendly working environment between the employees.
Yeah, they interact more having this space. I agree. Thank you. You can proceed with the next.
Yeah.
I think I told you do one, then the other person can do the other until you finish.
Sure.
Okay. Nice one from you. Okay, I think I can proceed to present on the emotions.
Sure.
Okay, thank you very much. In line with the advantages or the benefits that she has presented, I think we can also look at the emotions in an organization or in a company setting where the foundation of new employees, they have been established on the fact that there's free lunch in that setting. And right from the very first time they step into that organization, in fact, some of them carried out a research about that company before they join as employee and they grow to any level. Now, at the middle, the management is now coming up to say, okay, they are scribing out the lunch, there will no free lunch and all that. Now, on the national aspect of it, which also is in line with the ethical behavior of an employee as relates to this. We'll look at the, I'll call it the morale. It will affect the morale of the employees. And there is a management concept that talks about high morale, high productivity, and low morale, low productivity. So if the morale of any of the employees is affected positively, then it will not affect their job. But if it's affected negatively, it will also affect their performance on the job. And why must it affect? Because one, there are a lot of questions that will be coming to their minds. One, one of the questions could be, um, this new policy, will it favor them? Why will it not take much money from their pockets? How is it possible that the quality of the meal they will get will be enough? They will enjoy the meal. The environment, if the staff or if the manager that establish a new cafeteria, how will the environment will it be conducive? And considering the fact that part of the money will be taken away from their salary or from their own income also. So this also affect the emotions of the staff of that organizations. So I also
Yeah.
look at uh, I also consider the fact that the job environment, you will see that some colleagues, I would keep talking about some people who might use that as avenue to avoid job, as in it will lead to time wasting. Because some will go out for lunch and they will stay longer than the time schedule, unless the management will put appropriate policy on time management. Otherwise, one of the disadvantages is that it will affect the productive hours of the organization.
Mm. Good points. Yeah.
Maybe I should think more other factors or more other hinges again for now.
Did you did you find you do you have opinions about the ideas? Have you worked on that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I think my own opinion as to whether to support or not is that considering the fact that it will affect the morale of the employee, but the organizational goal should be considered more above the individual benefits. So, in that it will enable the company as a whole to achieve a higher goal, make more productivity, cut off some unnecessary uh, time waste and the financial costs implication. So I think it's a good idea that the company should embark on that.
Good. Wellington, you're talking about emotions, right?
Yes,
Okay. And that's another hat, and the green hat, ideas. That belongs to you as well. You have to work on that.
okay, the green.
The green one, yeah.
Yes, but I think the challenge I'm having is the inscription on the green, the ideas.
Okay, I'm gonna write it for you.
Okay, sir.
So it's the ideas. I'm gonna write the smaller points. Check the messages.
Okay, sir.
Do you want me to present mine?
Okay,
Sure, present.
you can present one of yours while we're looking at it.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about problems and planning. So the problems that will be there, I think first of all, the employees will be demotivated. So demotivation will be a problem. If employees are asked to buy their food while they were given free food for a certain amount of time, so they will be motivated for that, and they may ask for a salary raise, and if a salary raise is not provided, I think that will result to employee turnover. So employee turnover will be another problem for the company. And another problem is that to find a suitable location for the cafeteria. There might be a lack of space within the company. And I think another problem will be that there will be more administrative works. They have to so the manager for the cafeteria will have to provide reports to the paperworks and other stuff. So there will be more administrative works within the company. And for the planning, first of all, I think that the company should consider problems and benefits before planning. So whether should they go on with this plan or not, to establish a cafeteria or not. So if they want to establish a cafeteria, I think first of all they have to choose a location, and they have to do the procurement, design and construction. Maybe go into a contract with a company to do the design and construction for them, and they have to buy products such as table, chair, other stuff, and they have to create a menu for the food that they are selling, and show, and also the price that they are providing or they're offering should be fair. So these are the company should consider these points in planning stage. That's it.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So are you done with your brainstorming?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So everyone had their hats and came up with ideas based on their hats or arguments?
Yes, we did.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you document these ideas?
Yes, I wrote it in for Word file.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So what's the last solution? So what's the solution that you came up with? The final one. Will you agree with the management decision to stop providing the free lunch and have the cafeteria, or did you come up with a different solution?
Okay. All right. Well, on that, I'm talking about the green aspect of it, the ideas. Now,
Professor.
talking about.
Okay, so Wellington, go.
Okay. Can I go on?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, right. And we consider the possible solutions to it. And I feel it's on a positive side for the management to proceed to go on to establish a cafeteria and to cut off or stop the free lunch to the workers. And
So your
the,
final decision is to go with the solution provided by the management.
on my own opinion, I think it's more
No, no,
better
no, no,
to
no,
do
no.
that.
I don't mean your opinion. As a group, did you
Okay.
reach a final decision?
Okay. No, we are still trying to put our points together.
Okay.
Professor Wellington had issues with the points, so I shared with him the points, and he was working on that. I thought that we, including you, will decide on what the case, what the result will be. We only presented our ideas and opinions, not the
Okay.
final.
I'll give you another 5 minutes because because I want you to really, really understand the tool and how to use it. The ultimate goal here is not the discussion. The ultimate goal here is to come into a decision, you know?
Sure.
So the management had a solution, okay? And you as a committee or a team, you were presented with this solution. So the end result of this brainstorming session is to come up with a final decision. So we have many alternatives here. The first one is you will stop providing lunch and have this cafeteria. The second option is to stop providing lunch and also don't have a cafeteria. The third one is to continue providing lunch and have the cafeteria. Okay, these are the alternatives. I'm thinking out loud with you. What else? You provide lunch and you don't have a cafeteria, so you keep the same situation as it is. Maybe you can come up with other decisions. Maybe you give an allowance or something like this. I'm not sure. I was not in your discussion. I'm waiting for your final decision.
Sure.
So the brainstorming that we did and the benefit of these tools is to structure our thinking or have some structured approach. And we will learn other tools as well. But specifically for brainstorming to include different angles. So we have the emotions, we have the ideas, we have the risks, we have the optimistic approach, we have this, we have that. So we think of the problem from all angles. So at the end, we come up with an effective solution. So I'll give you another 10 minutes. It seems that you need more than, but be careful because we have other topics that we want to cover. So I will give you the 10 minutes and no more, okay?
Okay.
So go back to your decision-making process and come up with a final decision.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Marshall. Marshall, are you there?
Yes, Wellington. Yes.
Okay. Since you already you already touched down some points, maybe we will add the ones we have so that we collect them all together and then do the presentation. While if there's any other thing, you can as well support.
Okay.
Right. Based on what she has also said, she talks about the alternatives. To me, I feel it's better for who choose the alternative one. Sorry, alternative two. In that alternative one is stop the lunch and then let the staff pay. Then we choose alternative two is that stop the lunch, but uh, open the cafeteria so that
Yeah.
the workers can come with their foods or they can buy and have a place to stay for them to eat. Considering the fact that if you close the free lunch, it will affect them emotionally. Then another suggestion I have is that talking about the suggestions, the reasons why we should stop the launch, the free launch, is the cost implication. Perhaps due to the inflationary rates in the nation, it has affected the cost of raw materials, which has automatically affected the production and the income of the the pre-tax income of the company is also affected. And as such, the company wants to cut down their expenses by reducing the amount spent on free lunch, owing on the fact that they are paying the staff, they are being paid. So they feel that the staff should take full responsibility of the full lunch. So on that note, my suggestion there is that we support the fact that the organization should stop the lunch, but let that be provision for the cafeteria.
So should they provide lunch and also establish cafeteria?
No, they should stop the lunch. They should not
Okay, stop
provide,
the lunch.
yes, but they
Okay.
should open a cafeteria for them to enable them come with their own meal, their own food, or enable them have where they can rest.
Yes, that could be one alternative. Uh, okay, I also think that as we talked about the benefits and the problems, so the one of the benefits that we talked about was that em- uh, we if we establish a cafeteria, we can provide employees with a good working or friendly working environment. They have free time to chat uh,
Yes.
in a certain place. So that's one of the benefits and the problems. So, and we talked about the emotions that if we stop providing lunch, uh,
No,
employees will be angry, or it will affect the
yes, their productivity.
productivity and morale. So, one of the alternatives that I think will be suitable is that we can establish a cafeteria and provide lunch, but with minimum price, we cheaper than anywhere else. So, with that, both employees will be satisfied. They will have as we know that employee satisfaction is very important. And we don't want to lose employees. We don't want employee turnover, because if we cut services within the company, it may result to employee turnover. Maybe employees will be attracted to another companies. So we don't want that to happen. So we have to provide services in order to get the in order to have productive employees and generate revenue.
So,
So
do you
I
think,
think we
do
have to
you,
invest on our employees, uh, but with minimum price. We have to get minimum prices from our employees to serve them to serve them food. I don't know. That's my opinion.
so if I should
Because
go by, oh,
as you know, that employee turnover is more costly than providing food. According to researchers, one bad hire results to $70,000 in cost to a company. So I
okay, I
think
think,
that's a good
um,
reason to provide services to employees.
okay, Manso,
Yes.
um, let's look at it. Let's also look at it on the other hand. You know, prior to this time, it's like the management were providing free lunch, free cafeteria, free everything. Now the leadership said no, we can provide the cafeteria, but you pay for the food. Am I correct? Hello? I hope I'm,
Yes,
I hope
very
I'm
good. I
correct.
hear you.
Sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, because if we are to go by that, let's agree first. Let's agree on the best alternative we are to choose. Then based on that, we can now come up with the advantage and the disadvantages of that.
Yeah.
So
Okay. In terms of cost, I think Masul, you said there might not even have enough space to build the cafeteria, and you highlighted
Yes.
it will also
Yes.
cost. It's an extra cost to the company to build the whole structure.
Yes. But it's
So
one-time cost.
no,
yeah,
no,
it's
no,
a
no, no.
one-time cost.
No, sorry, please, if you understand the write-up, the management said they can provide cafeteria. That means the management did not consider the cost of that, but they want to stop the feeding aspect of it. It costs them more. While to provide the amenities is just one-off cost. So let us not consider the cost of providing the cafeteria.
All right. So what is the conclusion? Uh,
Uh, like my suggestion, based on what Prof said, my suggestion is we'll grade the assignment into three. One, one to provide lunch and provide cafeteria. To
mhm.
provide free lunch and the cafeteria. Two, to provide cafeteria and not free lunch. So we'll now choose the second option that let management provide a cafeteria for them, but stop the free lunch. Our reason being that one advantage of stopping that it will enable the company, the organization to save costs of the cost of providing lunch. For instance, if the organization has about 400 employees and you're giving a lunch of, let's say, $50 per meal, or $50. So this times this will close to about 20,000 per meal. So the company can save that cost.
Okay.
That's number one advantage if we choose. Let them
Okay.
stop the cost.
My point is that companies nowadays strive to provide better services to their customers, not cut services, especially if they're big companies. So companies, international companies or big companies, compete with each other to provide better services for the employees. So if this is a big company and they want to cut um, services for the customer for the employees, I think that will be a disadvantage. But I don't know. Let's go with the majority.
I understand your point. It's a little bit, but when it comes to issue like this, I think the management has a way about it. So let's for the sake of this assignment, support the management on this ground. Considering the fact that you are also a manager, if you are the management position and you have calculated, advised the management, the board of directors on this, then we should, because it's like we are playing an advisory role. So let's see if we will support the management on this concept. So
Okay.
before we proceed, what do you agree? What do you pencil down? What do you really take as your our opinion where we are? The one, the concept, the option we are supporting.
Okay. So I'm not saying that we have to cut lunch and we have to provide free lunch. What I'm saying is that we provide lunch, but with minimum cost, minimum
Yeah,
prices.
with
So
minimum. Yes.
before that, we were providing free food for employees. Maybe they could have their lunch within the office. But now we establish a cafeteria and provide food, but with minimum cost. So it is psychologically also employees will accept the offer to pay for their food if they have a
So
proper place to eat.
okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
So how many percentage do you think we should? What percentage? Because should it be 50% of the free lunch, or should we say 20%? that the employee should be paid.
Wellington, do you agree with my
The-
points?
the-
If you want to, just please present your opinion.
Go ahead. I'm only trying to. I'm not trying to be a little bit specific because you said a minimal cost. Let's
Yeah.
try to be more professional by saying, okay, let the minimal cost be like 50%. Let employee, let it be 50-50 or that, or say 40-60. Let the employee pays 40% of the initial cost of launch while the management pay 60%. That should be more professional other than saying let us be minimal. Let's
Okay,
define
yeah,
that.
you're saying that we have to be more clear. Okay, right,
Yes.
yeah. Sure.
Okay, so I see that you almost have a decision.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
just the next 3 minutes.
Okay, so what's the final decision?
Also,
Okay, sure. So, Professor, we had a discussion and we came up with this result. So, I think that the company wants to establish the cafeteria and provide food, but with minimum cost. For example, we will decide what percentage of the food cost the employees will cover, or what percentage the company will cover. So we don't want to cut services because, as an employer, we don't want to cut services for employees, and we don't want to lose our employees, because if we cut services, we might face employee turnover, and that's more costly to employers these days. So yeah, that's our decision.
So again, you don't want to cut the service, so you will keep the service. You will keep providing lunch, free
Yes.
lunch.
No, not free lunch, not free lunch.
Uh-huh.
We will have a proper place to eat, because we didn't have a proper place for employees. But now we will establish a cafeteria. Employees will be able to eat in a proper place. They will be able to have a little chat with colleagues. They will have a friendly working environment. Psychologically saying, employees will accept the offer to pay for their food if they have a proper place to eat, for example, in a cafeteria within the company, inside the company.
No, I didn't understand. So you will establish the cafeteria and you will
Yes.
keep giving them free lunch,
No, not free
no,
lunch.
not free.
yes,
So
No,
you
not free. We will have a menu with fair prices. I mean, cheaper than anywhere else. Employees will bear or will cover minimum cost to.
okay, so you will establish a cafeteria and you will provide discounted lunch.
Kind of
yes.
discounted,
So
yeah.
you can,
Okay, why I'm insisting on this? Because it's very important for you, after all this discussion and hustle and spending all this time, you have to keep in mind the main goal here was to cut expenses. That's why your solution should be effective. So by proposing this, did you take into consideration the cost of the cafeteria that you want to build?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
But I also.
The proposal, the initial proposal of the management is that they will spend that money, but they will not provide free lunch anymore. Okay,
Professor,
so
yeah.
this is the perception, or this is the feasibility study that they did. I will incur this amount of dollars at the beginning to establish the cafeteria, but I will sell the food. So I'm not going to have this long-term costs of providing free lunch.
yes,
So it's a
Professor.
trade, okay?
Yeah,
I-
In your
Professor.
case, in your solution,
Professor.
okay, I'm not paraphrasing, I'm trying to make sure that I understood the right solution that you are providing. So
Okay,
you will have the costs of establishing the cafeteria. You will provide the food at discounted rate.
Yes.
Professor,
So,
let me
mm,
Professor, let me put it a little. What we are trying to understand is that is two ways: the management aspect and the employee point of view. We
okay,
come
that was your discussion. Here,
yes,
I,
no,
okay, I'm
no.
the
What
CEO. I don't care of your discussion. I don't care about the optimistic ideas. I don't care about the feelings. I don't care about this. I'm caring because the main problem was to save money, to cut the cost. So,
Yes.
is your
yes,
proposal will help me to cut the cost?
yes, that is
Professor,
what we
but
are trying to point to
the
you.
case says that
Yes. Uh,
they will
let,
establish a
let me.
cafeteria. So we are
Okay.
also establishing a cafeteria. The case
Okay,
says that they want to establish a cafeteria. That's I think that's excluded from the cost. So
okay.
they have the plan to establish a cafeteria, and we also have the plan to establish a cafeteria.
Mhm.
But they wanted to sell their food with full cost. But suppose that in the meeting there is an HR manager, and if you want to have a decision for organizational decision covering all aspects of the organization, the HR manager will say that if we are cutting services, the company will lose employees. So
Okay,
that will
again,
be
you
another
are
cost to the
dragging
company.
me to the discussions.
Sorry.
Be sure now you are presenting to the CEO, so be very concise. You are dragging me again to the discussions that you
No,
had in your team. I don't care. As a CEO, I don't care. Give me the final one. So you will establish the cafeteria. It's okay. It's the same aspect of the initial solution. Then the initial solution is that I will give zero discount on the food. In your case, you will give discounted food,
Yes.
yes,
right?
Yes.
yes,
So you
Professor.
are saving me to you are helping me to save the cost but not cut the cost.
Yes.
Professor, let's
Okay.
look at
So once you presented your final decision or your final solution, now you are ready to say the reasons why you see this solution is better than the initial one that we proposed. See how I'm trying to
yes,
teach you
Yeah.
how to organize. So give me the solution. The solution is to establish a cafeteria. Okay, the CEO, yes, okay, I accept this. But instead of providing zero support to the lunch, I heard something about 30%, 70%. So we will provide food at 30% discount, for example. So I'm not cutting cost, but I'm saving costs. At the same time, now you can come up with your arguments that I'm protecting the employee morale. I'm helping the company to keep the best employees. I don't want to leave the company. It will not be good for the company reputation and whatever the reason that you brainstormed with.
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is it, because as we discussed before the exercise, we might have the best brainstorming session ever. If we don't reach the solution that will be implemented, and we have the reasons or the evidence to show that this is reasonable and effective, we are just wasting time. So as a CEO, I might think, okay, I might not cut the whole cost if for example, if it cost me $1,000 a week to provide lunch, I will spend 300, no, actually, $700 because you are providing 30% discount. So I still spend $700. See? So now when I translated your solution into numbers, because I'm taking care of the bottom line here, I might come back and say, no, actually, your solution is not effective. It only helped me to save 30% only of the cost. So you might again have this argument with the CEO and say, okay, but okay, what are the risks? Who were responsible for the risks? Who was responsible for the risks?
The manager.
Yeah, no. In the discussion. In the discussion.
Okay. The risk or the problems?
Yeah, the black.
It was me.
Okay, so it will support your argument if you come up with numbers, because at the end it's a numbers game.
Yes.
I'm a CEO, I want to save money, I want actually to cut this cost, and you are telling me instead of I'm spending $1,000, I have to spend the initial cost of establishing the cafeteria plus $700 each week. It's not feasible enough. No, sorry, Mansour, your solution is not feasible for me.
Yeah, but Professor, I also
You can come and you say, okay, but the loss of losing an employee and rehiring an employee and retraining an employee and do this and do that, it will cost you more than the $700.
Yes,
and you can
that's
have
right.
a rough cut calculation and come back to me. You are thinking of the $700. Think of the $10,000 that you will lose if you lose a worker from the production line, for example. Now you put things into perspective to the manager. Oh my God, yes, I'm thinking of the $700. What about the cost of rehiring and retraining and all this? See?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
Okay. Okay. So
Thank you.
how do you like an exercise like this? Can you see yourself implementing it in real life?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's very important for me to find a way in your real life to do something like this. And I want to tell you that I used it on a personal level because my kids are teenagers. So I cannot say something and I say, oh, because I said so. No, they are teenagers. So using this exercise, it helped them to see, all the aspects that I'm thinking of as a mother. And maybe with your spouse, or maybe with your parents, or maybe with anyone in your life. So this is one of the nice exercises that I have. As you can see, I was not interested to hear the discussion, because in real life, as a project manager, you are reporting, for example, to a steering committee or to a sponsor or to the top management. At the beginning, they will not be interested of hearing all your arguments. Remember when we were talking about data and information? So focus on the information first. So you start with the end. We had our discussion, we had our analysis, and this is our final solution. That's why in big reports, we have executive summary, because in most cases, top management will not read anything except the executive summary. If I read the executive summary and there is something I didn't understand or something that I need more information for to understand it, I will go and read these sections in the report. So very, very important to start presenting the right way. So you give the final decision that you reached, and then you say, okay, we came up with this decision because of 1, 2, 3, and you can add whatever. But very important to understand the nature of the problem. Remember when we talked about the nature of the problem? The problem here was to cut the cost. So if your solution will not help me to cut the cost, it's not a solution.
Yes.
So how to present this? You didn't help me to cut much, but you grabbed my attention when you said, okay, if you lose an employee, this will cost you that much. It's very important also to learn the language that the top management speaks. In many cases, almost in all cases that I have came across, the top management speaks bottom line. Bottom line means benefits or profits more than the expenditures, or revenue, sorry, revenue is more than expenditure or cost. This way I have a good working company. Okay?
Yes.
Good. Any question before we move? Because we have so many things to cover. Okay, so let's, sorry. Let's continue. Okay, so we think of the inputs. Some inputs for the decision-making process will be strategic. So in order for an organization to retain coherence, the decisions made in the project that it undertakes need to fit with the overall strategy outlined for the organization. This is very important. I always say and emphasize that your project is part of a more bigger plan called the strategic plan. That's why project managers and managers create what is called a business case. So what you were doing now is a business case. You had your brainstorming and you provided, sorry, a solution, and you compared the costs of your solution to the long-term costs of losing employees. So you have this strategic aspect. If as a CEO, I had an opposed opinion, and I proved that on the long run, let's say calculation for this for 5 years, on the long run, my solution is more effective than your solution, then I am more strategic than you. Some other inputs are fundamental or political. Each person brings their own viewpoint to the decision-making process. This will range in form from bias, we are all biased, to forthright statement of personal beliefs. When you had your arguments, I imposed this by telling you, you are black, you are blue, you are yellow, you are green. But in real life, we don't need this. But I will come to the table with my own biases, with my own ideas, with my own beliefs, and it will reflect on the idea that I will present. Quantitative modeling, this is very important. What we were doing when we were discussing the costs, it's part of the quantitative modeling. So I don't want to talk about this abstract ideas all the time. Give me some number, give me some equation. That's why I told you, will you help me to save costs? Yes. How much? 30%. Oh, then instead of spending 1,000, I will spend 700. No, it's not enough for me. So see, we do some sort of quantitative modeling, and we will see other tools that we can use. Subconscious elements, obtaining people's legitimate reservations about a decision, can be a preventer of groupthink, provided that an atmosphere can be created in which people feel free to try to elucidate such thoughts. The key word here is groupthink. The more you spend the time together brainstorming, you might have the same way of thinking. You know, at the end of the brainstorming session, we are all becoming black, for example. So something in the dynamics of our discussions made everyone think the same way. So, and it becomes subconsciously expressed in the decision later. So it's part of the inputs here. These are some reasons for poor decision making. Data not properly ordered or structured. That's why we try to structure the data we have as much as we can. Too much time spent developing answers to problems rather than statement of the problem. See here, you might be thinking too much of the right solution, but you missed the real statement of the problem. The problem here was not about the free lunch. It was about the cost, minimizing the cost, because I do care about the bottom line. So it's very important to really have a clear statement of the problem before I start brainstorming and thinking of possible solutions. An inability on the part of decision makers. You were decision makers because you were making the decision. As a CEO, I was the decision taker. I finalized the decision. The inability on the part of the decision makers to consider all the variables or factors involved. That's why we use tools such as 6 hats to force ourselves to think of all the aspects of the problem. An inability to evaluate the impact of extraneous factors. Maybe there are some external factors that's affecting, and I don't keep it, or I don't evaluate the impact of certain factors. So we try to model the system. The organization is a system. The project is a system. Even the problem could be a system. So we use different ways to model the system, create a model so we better understand the what's going on. Either we have a descriptive model or a geometric model or a mechanistic model, a static predictive model, or dynamic predictive model. So let's talk about these models. Of course, these models could be so simple, and it could be very elaborate. And you know, when we do the research or something, we use fancy ways to do this. So the easiest or the simplest one is the descriptive model. So we describe the system, or we describe what it is. And you will find that we use acronyms. Throughout our course, we used models and we used graphs to describe what's going on. So we have the elements here, for example. When we talk about politics, how we can describe politics as a model. So we have ideas and interests, democracy, justice, feminism, whatever. Then we have the state or the government. We have institutions, just like legislators, federalism, political parties, maybe, this is the next one, citizens and communities and their representatives. And we have processes. We have elections, we have socialization, we have this policy making. So this is a model to describe politics. These are the components of this big word that has so many aspects, politics. Or geometric model. And here we use sometimes the computer aided design systems. So we try to formulate a specific design for something, you know, and it's part of they call it design thinking, and you will find that there are a whole discipline for this. And in many cases, you will not use this unless you are working in something that you create a prototype. A mechanistic model uses a theory to predict what will happen in the real world, determining the inputs and determining the inputs to and outputs from the system. So we create a descriptive model, but for a system. We have inputs, outputs, mechanisms. Again, this is one of the popular models that we use. Or way of modeling. Static models can be defined as models that represent a phenomenon or a system at a given moment, taking a limited picture of the state of a system at a particular point in time and using various mathematical techniques to predict the future phenomena. So, for example, if I have a store, the state of the store is different. I have different quantities throughout the week. Maybe I have different temperatures around the store. I have different number of visitors throughout the day. So a static model is like just taking a photograph of that store at a specific time. So on Wednesday at 3 o'clock, I had this number of visitors. I had this number of items on shelves. I had something not working here. So it's like having a model that represents the system at a specific time. The opposite to it is the dynamic predictive time. And it's real-time system. And for example, we have a square in a city, and we take a photo for that square every 1 minute. And we put these photos all together. So it will show me the movement of cars in that square. When is the peak? When is the lowest? What's happening? What type of cars across the day? So it's dynamic. It shows me at different points. So I can see the future trends. You know, at the peak of the traffic, maybe I need more support in this square. Maybe I'll have more police officers so they can organize the traffic at that time. So why we do modeling? Because I want to crunch time to get into the solution. I want to understand the problem in a minimum time required. Also, it will help me with what if scenarios. So I can have assumptions and change the assumptions and see what if this happen, what will happen? If this happens, what will happen? But if that happens, what will happen? Also, because I want to avoid errors. So I want to clearly understand what's going on. And I want to detect where the errors comes from. I want to examine the fundamental assumptions. For example, you thought that in this cafeteria thing, that employees or workers don't have a nice space to eat at. This is an assumption, but maybe they have a space, maybe a room or something they have lunch at, but it's not a cafeteria. It doesn't provide food, but it has tables and chairs and comfy chairs, but it's not a cafeteria. It doesn't sell anything. Optimizing parameters. As we said, anything we can consider as a system, the system has a parameters. So I can raise this, I can lower this. Also, it can help me avoiding trial and error. To have a solution, implement it, it's not right. To have another solution, implement it, it's not right. And I keep trying and erroring until we find the right one. So if I do modeling, I can change these solutions, I can change the parameters, I can change the what-if scenarios without implementing any solution in the real world. Measuring the sensitivity to external effects. So I can understand the external factors affecting the system and also the effects of the system on the external environment, so I can understand what's going on. What if this rises? Oh, this lowers. Oh, this is not good, and so on. So we do modeling to understand and to have all these benefits. So when we approach the problem, we have to analyze it. So we deal with the uncertainties. What information that we are sure of this information or data? What information that we have some doubts or degrees of uncertainties? What information that we don't have? Then we do some sort of a modeling. It could be mathematical modeling. It could be descriptive modeling, anything. The brainstorming session that you had, you did some modeling subconsciously. Then we move to the problem solving. So I will keep you reading this, but I want to talk about this. The problem solving tools. These are some other tools that can help me in the problem solving. The Pareto analysis, this is one of the most effective, simplest concepts. So Pareto, he was an Italian economist. We can move. Okay, before I continue, I will tell you the 3-1. So we have Pareto analysis, we have Ishikawa or the fishbone diagrams, and we have cause and effect analysis. So let's start with the Pareto. Pareto said, he of course analyzed many economic phenomena, and he said 80% of the results depends on 20% of the factors. For example, as a company, 80% of my revenue will be generated from only 20% of my customers. If you have a problem in your marriage, for example, 80% of our fights comes from 20% of the reasons. So only 20% of the aspects of our marriage causes the biggest fights. So when you focus on these critical 20%, you can solve the problem 80%. So I might have all the problems in my project. I will categorize them, and then I will have the relative percentage of the problems. So for example, if I'm in manufacturing facilities and the line shut-offs, okay, maybe the temperature of the furnace go high. Maybe there are bottlenecks. Maybe there are absentees. Okay, these are the three causes that I will have. 80% of the times that we shut off the line was related to temperature. What does it mean? It means that if I solve the problem of the temperature, I will solve 80% of the problems. So this is very, very important. Pareto analysis, oh my God, I use it all the time. Here is the second tool, the Ishikawa. This is a Japanese scholar, and I learned about this way, way, way back in the 90s. Or the fishbone. And why they call it fishbone? Because sometimes when you do this graph, it looks like the fishbone, the skeletal bone. So, okay. What's the problem? Okay, the software delivered late. We are late in delivering the software. So I'll keep analyzing the reasons. Okay, employed inappropriate mixture of skills and personality. What shall I do? Reassigned programmers to other teams. No, not what shall I do. What is the reason for this? You know? So, okay, no. Let me start again. I will explain it better. The real problem is software delivered late. So some of the reasons are related to the management of the team. Some of the reasons are related to the specification of the software. Some problems are related to people in the team. Some of the reasons are related to the hardware. So I start with the big ones, okay? So what's wrong with the management of the team? We reassign programmers to other teams. What happened when we reassigned programmers to other teams? We employed inappropriate mixture of skills and personalities. Specifications of software. We started with incomplete specifications. Some of the specifications were ambiguous. We changed the specification during development. And we can take these reasons or these causes and think of it again, and we find other causes. Reassign programmers to other teams. Why? Because we are understaffed. We don't have enough employees. We don't have enough programmers. So this could be another bone coming from reassigned programmers, says not enough programmers in the team. Why? Lack of talent, for example. So we do this over and over and over until we have a clear picture of all the reasons that's happening. And then we highlight the main reasons, or the 80%, the 20% that we will work on. This is the last one. This is the cause-effect analysis. When something happens, if A happens, then B happens. Or if A happens, then B and C happen. if A happen, then and B happen, so two things coming together, C will happen. So for example here, okay, bill work performance is poor. Okay, here is the problem. A, Bill doesn't allocate his time well. What will happen when Bill doesn't allocate his time well? He goes to bed late and also appears more interested in fishing. What will happen if he goes to bed late? He oversleeps. Another thing will happen, that he's permanently tired at work. What will happen if he is permanently tired at work? Work slower. And he has bad attitude to work. When he has bad attitude to work, he works more slower and his performance is poor. And we can analyze this again and again, cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect, until we totally understand the problem. Any questions so far? Okay. There are some other tools to support the decision. So we had tools supporting the brainstorming. We had some tools supporting understanding the problem. Now we have other tools supporting the decision making. So we have decision trees. We have simple decision frameworks like attribute analysis or force field analysis. We also have decision support systems like databases and artificial intelligence. So let's see these. This is decision tree. So we have a decision and we have possible outcomes, and we take these possible outcomes and we build a decision on, and then this decision has possible outcomes and so on. So we do this to totally understand the decisions, the different decisions, and the different outcomes that we will get from that decision. And you did something like this in your brainstorming. Maybe next time you can organize your ideas in a decision tree. Or force field. We give certain weights to certain attributes. For example, if I have 5 suppliers supplying the same item, and I want to select the right supplier, what I will do, I will list all the attributes and I will give weight to or a grade to each one of the suppliers. For example, one of the attributes is knowledge and experience. A got 6, B 7, C 7, D 9, E 8. Another one, their quality assurance system. 5, 6, 8, 9, 9. And I do this for all the attributes. And these should be based on facts. Or my assumptions, I want my assumptions to be as correct as possible. And then I will give these numbers and the total here. So, okay, it's definitely E, supplier E is the one. They got 90. So they rank number 1. D ranks number 2. C ranks number 3, and so on. So you can do this even in your personal life. When you have 2 options, suppliers here are options, and you set certain criteria or attributes and you try to grade each option in relation to this attribute. So at the end, you might have some rough number saying this option is better than that option. This is force field. Again, it's something similar to this way, but we do it in a more graphical way. So we have here pluses and minuses, and here we have the criteria again. For example, force field analysis on standing for election. What are the attributes or the criteria? I have the desire to do it. It has a long-term career benefit for me. I can discuss issues. I can present my new views. It could be a short-term career. Fear of losing. No, I don't want to go because I'm afraid of losing. I don't have time, or I have time. And again, I set a value for these parameters. We're supposed to do another discussion from the book. Okay, let me share my screen here, my full screen, but we don't have time to do it. So I will ask you to really read it and see it, because it's really good. So this is the exercise here. We're supposed to do it. The use of cause effect, cause analysis. It gives us a problem, and we do this analysis. And here they did it for us, and they will show you how this will work in real life. And this is a real example. So take some time after the lecture to go through it, because we will not be able to go through it. And try to answer these questions. You know, what is the benefit of constructing a current reality tree? Why is it necessary to insert additional elements into your tree? Why would focusing on selling effectiveness, blah, 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 all these questions. Try to understand the tree. And you see here, they had two scenarios. The current one, and the future one. So they have a predictive approach to this, okay? It's a good reading, so please do it. We are done. So any questions so far? What I want to say, okay, where is it? Yes, it's here. So I added the week 12 lecture presentation, and I will add the lecture, the link to the lecture. Also, I extended quiz 5. Now it will close Saturday 30, because some couldn't finish on time, so I extended it. And what's the next week? We are running out.
Was it quiz 4 or quiz 5, Professor?
Excuse me?
Was it quiz 4 or 5?
No, I think it was 4.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 4. Yeah, we still have one quiz. So I will have it today for you. It will cover only until week 12. Week 12, 11, yeah, it will cover only these 2 weeks. Okay. Sunday. Okay, we need to cram this because we will have a final on the 30th. So on Thursday, we will have a lecture. Okay. Again at 11:30. And we will cover week 13 and week 14. And on the 30th, I will post the final exam. I want to say I'm not going to extend the time for the final exam whatsoever. Some of you made me extend the quiz 1, 2, and 3, and 4, but we don't have time. So we have to finish this. So the final exam will be open on 30th, Saturday, and I will give it a full day open until the 1st, then no extension whatsoever. So if you miss it, you miss it, okay? So on Thursday, I will also post a message on WhatsApp. So on Thursday, 28th, we will have another lecture. We will cover these topics, project completion and review and improving project performance. And then the final exam will cover everything. As you can see, my quizzes, it comes directly from the presentations. So if you read your presentations and you know your material, you will be able to answer and get high grades. Any question in this regard before I leave? Any question?
I have a question.
Yes,
Can you
please.
hear me? So we not only assignments and exam on project management, but we also have a lot of assignments on human resources.
You have also assignments on human resources? Welcome. Yeah, welcome to postgrad.
Yes. I know we have to work hard, and I know we have to study, but I don't think we have time for all of that. At least can we cancel the group assignment so that we add the grade to the final?
What assignment?
The group assignment.
The group assignment? Okay, now you are contradicting each other, because at the beginning you wanted me to lower the weight of the final and give you an assignment. And now...
Professor, at the beginning, what I meant was to have 2 exams rather than 1 exam, which is 40%. A group assignment, we wanted to work. We even created a WhatsApp group for it. We planned to work on it several times, but it's a international group. I mean, we are far away from each other, distance, and we have time conflicts and other stuff. I don't know why, but we couldn't manage to do it until now. And this week we have 3 assignments in HR class, and we have to study 17 chapters for this class, project management, and another quiz. But
Okay, no, I don't want to cancel anything. What I will do, I will contact the provost, I will contact the president, and I will ask them to extend the time. So instead of finishing, when will you start your next term?
we haven't been given information about that.
Okay, because usually it's 2 weeks between the 2 terms. I'm also a faculty member in another university. So we finished this term on the 23rd, and we supposed to start on the 9th. So I believe how many weeks? These are 3 weeks. So I'm not sure when your next term will start. I'm not teaching the next term with you. I don't have subject to teach. But I will ask, maybe we can have 1 week extension. So you can use this 1 week extension to work on your group assignment.
Will we have a class with you on third semester?
I'm not sure, but for sure I will teach the research methodology. This is given. I'm not sure what are the topics for the third semester. I might have, I might not. I don't know. But for sure you will see me a lot for your research methodology, and also I will follow up with your research for when you start working on your dissertation.
Just to ask, on Thursday, the lecture that you'll give, are we going to have questions on the same on the final exam? Because I feel if you take that approach to give us an extra time, it's going to help us at least go through the whole term's work.
So you want me to move the exam?
Sorry?
You want me to move the exam?
No, yeah, just how you've mentioned, you can check if we can have 1 week extension to have the exam next week instead of this week because of the classes we had this
I wanted
week.
to have the extension because I wanted to give you time to work after the exam on your assignment. So this way, if we ask for extension, you will have to work for your final exam and your assignment. Because I'm not going to cancel assignments. I don't have enough inputs for your grades.
I think an extra week could be good for both.
For both.
What if we put the 10% back to the final exam?
No, actually, it was okay. Let me see the structure, because right now the structure of the grades is all over. Okay, we have the 5 quizzes. Each quiz is 5%. So these are the 25. We have the small group discussions, each one worth 1%. These are 10.
I'm sorry, Professor. Yeah, in the beginning you mentioned that we will have 5 quizzes and you will remove one of the lowest one. So we will have only 20%.
No. I was going to give you 6 quizzes. Okay. Because some of you joined late.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What shall I do? You. Okay. I.
Changing the 5% into a little bit.
Okay, I will work again for the grades, and I will work again on the grades. What are the grades here? What's the grade structure? The problem that I provided the university with this, and we got the acceptance with this. So we had 10, okay. No, the group assignment was part of the initial plan. I was going to raise the weight of the group assignment. I was going to raise the weight. Excuse me?
We will do it, no problem.
Yeah.
So you want me to raise the weight for the group assignment and lower the weight for the final exam? So the group assignment was 15. I was going to make it 25. and take 10% from the exam, and it will be 30. So 30, 10 and 10, this is 50, 25, 10, 20, 55. Yeah, it was like this. Let me share my screen with you. Oh, and by the way, with undergrad, we don't do this. We totally don't do this. I'm giving you a special treatment because you are graduate students and you are professionals. So it will be like this, okay? So the final exam will be 30%. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so the final exam will be 30%. In-class discussions will be 10%. And this depends on attendance. So if you attended the class, you will take the 1%. We will have another quiz, 5 times 5, so it will be 25. Individual assignment 10%, you already took it. Group assignment 15. I can do something better. I can do the 25 on the individual assignment and only 10% on the group assignment. But I'm not gonna cancel it. I'm not gonna delete it.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Professor.
So you still have the group assignment, but it's only weight 10%. You already submitted your individual assignment, and some of you did very, very good work in their individual assignment. So this will be 25. Then the quizzes. One quiz will come today, and the in-class discussions. If you attended the class, you will take the 1%. And the final exam on the 30. And I will contact the university to request the extension for 1 week.
Thank you.
So, okay, because I'm traveling, okay, I have to be very, very careful with this. If we have 1 week, this will be on the 7th. So I can post the quiz, but I will not be able to see it or to deal with it until the 14th because I will be traveling. And the place that I'm traveling to, I know from the beginning that it might have some issues with connectivity. So anyway, now we have a plan. Now we have a new grade, so I will update. Moodle with the new plan, and
Professor,
yeah.
If we can, if the school authority can permit 1 week, can we still extend it to 2 weeks? So that since you will be traveling, so that everything will be.
Okay, this is not right. If we move again everything, this is not right because we have to finalize something at a certain time. So it's no. It will be on the 7th, and that's it. So it's supposed to be on the 30th. It will be on the 7th, and that's it. Okay, and you start working on your group assignment. Now you have less weight, but still you need the grades. You still need the grade. So work on your assignment. And one thing that I want to tell you that, okay, now I'm uploading. Okay, I'm uploading. Okay, let me share my screen again and I will show you a way that you can work with together with each other without No, let's do it something else. This is. I'm not sure if you can see it, if I can share. Okay. Can you see here if I can share my screen? Okay, what you can do is you can start a Google Docs. Okay. Start one blank. Then start. Okay, what's the group assignment? What is it? This is the individual. Oh, where is the group assignment? Didn't I publish here the group assignment? No, I think I
It's
did.
there. It's there.
Yeah,
Below.
I
Down
have
there.
it. Quiz, lecture, quiz, presentation. Oh, I missed it again. What week was it? Oh, here it is. Okay, here it is. Okay. So you can start a document file and you can have this, okay? Okay, these are all the requirements. So who will get, for example, Mansour will get this, okay? Who with you, Mansour?
I'm with Rodas and Sawa.
Okay, Rudus
Neros.
will have this one. Okay, who else? Or maybe, Mansour, you will have the first three. But see, I use the Google Docs instead of whatever. Then Rudus will do this and do that, okay? Okay, so I'm Rudus. I can access the document. Everyone can see the document at real time, and then I will come here and I will add whatever I want to add. Okay? Mansour, you will come to your part and you will add whatever you want to add. Okay? And everyone in the team will do the same. And you keep working on your parts, and everyone will see that, okay, you are working on your parts, you are adding graphs, you are adding whatever. And then after everyone adds everything, you can come together and you can finalize the document. So you don't need to have too many meetings.
Thank you.
One thing else, you all meet me at the same time. It means that you are available at these times. Why don't you use the same structure? You can say, okay, we will meet at 10, for example, Washington time. And all of you be online at this time. And you can use Zoom or you can use whatever. And you start working and you allocate, for example, 2 hours. And you say, okay, we will have the 2 hours, nothing more. So no one will waste time. And most of the time, most of the work required here is, I allowed you to use the internet.
Yes.
I allowed you to use the internet. So you finalize it as a booklet at the end using Word and you finish it. Okay, I know it's still lots of work, but it's doable. It's doable. And now you have 10% only for this assignment. So you finish it as quickly as possible, move on, and then study. Okay. Any other question? I uploaded the updated IB instructional plan with the new grade scheme. So we have only 30% for the final exam, and the weight of the individual assignment is 25, and the weight for the group assignment is 10%. So we will finalize everything. I hope you learned something today. This is one of my favorite topics, decision making and problem solving. And I will see you on Thursday. Okay?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Question,
Bye-bye,
Miss.
everyone.
Professor,
Bye-bye.
I have a question.
Yes.
President Amr mentioned in one of the our WhatsApp groups, he mentioned something about student visas.
Yes, I think right
I want to know
now,
if you have information about that.
yeah, I don't have much information, but you can contact Sarah. Sarah, she is the student affair officer.
Okay.
Whenever student affairs replies to you, it's Sarah. So what's her?
We have her contact. Okay.
Yes, she will be able to give you more information.
Sure. Thank you.
But what I learned is that the Amr,
Yes.
he was working hard on this visa thing. So we started with this. So it's a very good opportunity if you can use it. Yeah.
Okay. Is that because that we will have a physical campus, or
We are working on this.
okay?
Yeah, we are working on this. And also we are introducing new programs. So if you have your friends, so right now I'm working on a master's in project management. We have another professor, a new professor, he's working on master's in health informatics. So we are extended to the health sector, but not the clinical one, because we don't have a hospital, but maybe in the future we will have affiliation with a hospital. So if you have other friends in other disciplines, this would be a very good chance. And right now is the right time to join the university, because we are still new. Once we are established, I don't think that we will be as flexible as we are now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Can you
everyone.
hear me, Miss?
Yes. What? Excuse me, Rhodes, you asked for something?
The project.
Yes,
the-
yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask about the quiz 5.
Mm-hmm.
So it only covers lecture 11 and 12, right?
Yes.
Only
Yes.
the 2 weeks. So
Only 2 weeks.
okay, the quiz is going to be opened now, and then it will be closed tomorrow.
No, actually, I will leave it open until the 30th.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it will be open until the 30th.
Okay. Thank you, Miss, for everything.
Okay. Any one of you missed the previous quizzes? I know Mansoor, you did it. Rhodes, you did it all.
I did.
Sarah, I think you did it all.
I did.
Well,
I missed the
I
fourth
have
one.
one to go. I'll close by tomorrow.
you missed something?
No, I have one to go, quiz 3. So I'll do that before 30th.
Okay.
As well.
Wellington,
Yeah.
did you finish all the quizzes? Wellington?
I'm yet to do the quiz.
Okay. Because I might consider extended the time for the quizzes again. So
Yeah, me too. I haven't. I didn't take quiz 4 because it was on a Good Friday. It was a holiday.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I will extend. Yeah, it's already extended, and as I said, the learning is the most important part. Yeah. Okay, I have to leave you.
Can
And
we have one more attempt on quiz 4?
no, I don't allow more than one attempt. I can extend the time, but no, no, no. Okay. Okay. See you next week. Sorry, next. No, see you this
Thursday.
Tuesday.
Thursday.
See you Thursday. Okay. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye. Have a nice day.
Right.
And thank you.
Bye.